Compile? Compile. 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 Yeah, I don't know. The Japanese developer Compile developed just two shooters for the NES, Zanac and Gun+Nac. Zanac came first, and the NES version was a port of the MSX and Famicom Disk System versions that were published by Pony Canyon. A sweet name for a publisher. Gun+Nac was the last NES game developed by Compile, who also developed Godzilla, Monster of Monsters, The Guardian Legend, and Lunar Pool in the late 80s. Oddly, although released in September of 1991, Gun+Nac was the last true shoot-'em-up released for the system. Games like Dragon Strike, Firehawk, and Disney's Tailspin all came out after, and those have shoot-'em-up qualities, but none are true and pure shoot-'em-ups. Let's have a look. On the surface, Gun+Nac is your basic space-themed vertical shoot-'em-up. You guide a ship with the ability to auto-fire by holding down A and drop special bombs with B. Killing certain enemies or groups of enemies will produce power-ups such as other weapon types numbered 1 through 5 or different bomb types indicated via letters F, B, T, and W. Oddly, the only manuals I could track down were English for the first half and French for the second half. Some parts are repeated for each language, but most of the useful information is in the French half of the manual. The English half appears to be missing about 4 pages. In the French version, the weapons are detailed accordingly. Number 1 is the blaster and has the ability to shoot to the rear after some upgrades. Number 2 is the screen blaster, or essentially a high-powered bomb. 3 is my favorite, called a search driver. It's a homing shot that the manual claims is not very effective, but I think that's false. Number 4 has the best name of the bunch, Dragon Napalm. It's pretty powerful, but has limited range. 5 is called Wide Beam, and beams of lights or lasers blast forward from the ship. Each weapon can be upgraded by repeatedly picking up the same number. If you are hit or killed, you lose your upgrade, so watch out, but if you are killed and end up losing all your ships, there are infinite continues, and you start back at the beginning of the planet you died on, so that's not too punishing. When it comes to bombs, you start the game with 4, and can get more from collecting the letters on screen. F is the firebomb, which creates a contained circle of flames that repeatedly hit enemies who pass through it. B is the blizzard bomb, where an ice beam rolls back and forth across the screen, wiping out everything. That one's my favorite. T is the thunder bomb, which sends a lightning bolt careening off the edges of the screen, killing everything in its path. And lastly, W is the water bomb, where rain falls down the screen and wipes out enemies. You can also wipe enemies out by finding a screen clear bomb floating around. You can also collect extra wings for powering up your ship and shot range. If you find a floating P, you upgrade your weapon by 1 level. You can get 1-ups for extra ships, and bags of money are given up by these little yellow guys, which come in handy at the store. Yeah, there's a storefront. After each level, you visit a shop where you can upgrade or change your weapon or buy bombs and send them to the next stage or area. This I never really felt the effect of. I'm not sure if it creates more pickups of that particular bomb or that bomb is somehow used to weaken that level before you get there. You can also press select to adjust your ship's speed, which is a neat thing to learn if you're French. I played through the game twice before figuring that out. Would have been nice to know. You fight through 8 planets, each with its own environmental flavor and enemies. There's a moon city with creepy craters, a volcanic planet, a sea planet wrought with angry battleships, a dark forest full of hateful wood, a planet that's essentially the inside of a bank safe because why not, some ancient ruins, and a bunch of solar flares before entering into the final area, which looks like an angrier version of the Death Star. As the story goes, in the distant future in a galaxy far, far away, Earth's resources have been completely used and siphoned off, so the Galactic Federation develops a synthetic solar system designed to be the coolest of the cool and the hippest of the hip. So it's basically 1993 there, but some cosmic radiation caused things in the solar system to get a little weird, like creatures becoming rabid, inanimate objects coming to life, and carrots. Oh man. Have you seen the giant carrots? So the Galactic Federation calls on their hero and renegade, Commander Gun+Nac, who is reportedly hard to track down because he travels galaxy to galaxy trying to become the greatest video game player of the universe. Well, okay then. It is said he is also the son of the legendary Xan. Who is Xan, I wonder? Well, Compile developed both Gun+Nac and Zanac. See the connection? Xan, Gun+Nac, Zanac. So though it is unwritten that the two are related, could the legendary Xan be the pilot of the ship in Zanac? For the sake of continuity in this video, let's go with yes. Superficially, Zanac doesn't look as good as Gun+Nac, and this makes sense as it's 4 years older. Like Gun+Nac, Zanac is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up with air and ground targets to shoot and multiple weapon power-ups. On the spectrum of shoot 'em up, Zanac is closer to a bullet hell shooter where your ship is surrounded by enemy fire and your priorities are to dodge and shoot rather than to aim and shoot. It plays really well on the NES given the immense amount of clutter that can be on the screen at once. I never experienced slowdown despite sometimes begging for it so I could get a grip on the situation. This one is tough. Definitely tougher than Gun+Nac in my opinion. I'm no shoot 'em up prodigy or anything, so I definitely went arcade style and gave myself infinite lives to capture this footage and see what the game was like beyond the first 25 feet of level 1. Though one neat thing is, you can press select and start at the same time to start a new game from wherever your previous one ended, almost like Infinite Continues. It's a tip that helps quite a bit. As I said, this game is a punisher. As you'd expect, you have conventional machine gun fire and have special weapons, but the special weapons aren't limited. So, to make the most out of your attack, just hold down A and B the entire time to continuously shoot both the machine fire and the special weapons. However, this comes at a cost. The game actually changes its difficulty based on how aggressive you are, so says the manual. It recommends you not waste weapons and instead try killing enemies with a single blow. The more you shoot, the more they shoot. I'm not sure if it's better to try and be exact with your shots and die in that frustrating manner, or just go pedal to the metal and rely on dodging your way to success. You can upgrade your weapons, similar to Gun+Nac, though the upgrades are fewer and farther between. The conventional weapon can be upgraded by shooting boxes you find, and if you get 2 of the same power-up for your special weapon, that makes it even stronger, just like Gun+Nac. You can get an all-range weapon that shoots up the entire screen, one that shoots a slow bomb that destroys anything in its path, a shield, a circular fire attack that shields you a little, a vibrating attack that ping-pongs back and forth, one called a rewinder that goes up and down the screen, the plasma flash that destroys anything on screen on impact and is probably my favorite, and one that just increases the attack speed. If you get hit, your ship explodes and your attack level is back to square one. The enemies repeat on most levels, with only the backgrounds changing, but it stays variable enough to be visually interesting over the 12-level campaign. There are mini-boss enemies that take more finesse and firepower to kill, and the end boss, so to speak, of each area is usually whatever you'd call this, that flood the screen with a hail of bullets and missiles, while you must either destroy it or remain alive for the amount of time indicated in the upper right. It's tough though. If you lose your upgraded weapons and are left face to face with it, you're in for a bad time. And if you fail to destroy it in the allotted time, then the enemy strength is increased. This game doesn't let up. While I never found any, according to the manual, there are secret passages that will lead Zanac to more advanced areas, though I'm not sure you'd want that. As the story goes, you pilot a fighter ship known by its model number, AFX-6502 Zanac. No mention of whether your name is Xan or not to link to Gun+Nac's story, but let's pretend it is. Aliens created a thing known only as the quote-unquote system a long time ago that contains boundless wisdom, knowledge, and mass destructive potential. If opened properly, it grants untold wisdom and technology, but if improperly opened, well, it goes boom. Mankind tried to open it, but guess what? Yep, boom. They finally got it opened properly though, and now you must race your ship to its core, penetrating its defense systems to kill it before it kills us. Zanac is a highly recommended game for shoot-'em-up purists who like their games fast, brutally challenging, and without hiccups. The AI system that responds to your playstyle is a very ambitious feat for 1986 when the game was first developed for the Famicom Disk System, and it works really well. The music to the game is kind of basic and the visuals are simplistic even by NES standards, but as a whole the game is a solid 8-bit shooter. Between the two, Gun+Nac is going to be the more friendly game to try if you don't fancy yourself a shoot-'em-up savvy gamer. It's an upgrade in many ways, including visuals, sounds, and enemy design, but Zanac is a strong choice for anyone looking for a bullet hell challenge, a rare thing on the NES. If you really enjoyed Gun+Nac, there are lots of other shoot-'em-ups out there like it, but I would personally recommend Blazing Lasers for the TurboGrafx-16. It was also developed by Compile. It's similar in a lot of ways, but with more graphical fidelity. It might actually be easier too. Well, that does it for Compile's 2 NES shooters. Don't go messing with ancient alien technology, and thanks for watching.